The Ancients Among Us, a Cosmic Chronicle. Part 1. A Fleeting Human Veil. The gravel road clawed its way up the mountain, a quaint, almost touching imitation of a scar on the surface of a vibrant young planet. A minor planetary biosphere classified in the cosmic archives the ancients maintained as G3 life seeding, Stage 4. Inside the struggling SUV, 7 entities, ancient beyond mortal reckoning, wore their temporary human skins. The experience was akin to wearing ill-fitting, slightly itchy garments made of dense, fragile matter. John, the apparent leader, his human hands, gripping the steering wheel with a practiced, almost nostalgic familiarity, drove with an ease that profoundly belied the eons of cosmic command etched into his core. His human eyes, behind the mundane lenses of cheap sunglasses, held the cold, brilliant light of distant nebulae, the swirling chaos of creation, contained within irises of mundane brown. His power was the manipulation of space-time itself, the bending of cosmic laws, the command over universal constants. Gravity, causality, the very fabric of reality could be reshaped by his will. Yet here, he focused on maintaining the speed limit and navigating potholes. Beside him, Sarah, his partner, was a study in subtle, pervasive power. Her human form, a delicate, almost translucent veil over a consciousness that felt the pulse of galaxies. She gazed out at the towering pines, the intricate biological cycles unfolding within them, perceiving not just trees, but a complex, interconnected web of life force, singing a quiet, beautiful harmony. Her power was the command over cosmic energies, the manipulation of stellar winds, the weaving of nebulae, the perception and interaction with the universe's subtle, spiritual currents and the echoes of consciousness. The damp air of the forest, thick with the scent of decaying leaves and rich soil, resonated with a faint, almost poignant echo of life force, a tiny, beautiful whisper in the grand, deafening cosmic chorus she constantly monitored. "Are we sure this is the right road, John?" Mark, his human expression, a mask of restless arrogance, a thin veneer over the pulsating vortex of stolen life force that was his true form, asked from the back. His voice, though human, carried a subtle, almost imperceptible vibration of impatience, a frequency that grated against the natural harmony of the planet. This level of terrestrial travel is profoundly inefficient. The friction, the wasted energy, it offends my core. "Patience, Mark," John replied, his voice calm, containing the deep, resonant rumble of distant stars collapsing under immense gravitational pressure. This brief sojourn in human guises on this vibrant, teeming planet was more than a moment of quiet observation. It was a deliberate choice, a necessary tether to the intricate, fleeting cycles of life and death they were sworn to protect across the universe. Maintaining the facade requires adherence to local customs, observing the constraints that lesser beings accept. And this form, this environment, it has a certain raw, unpredictable charm, a chaotic beauty. "Charm," Chloe scoffed, her human expression one of perpetual skepticism, a shield for a mind that, in its true state, was a vast, intricate web of psychic manipulation, a tool honed over eons for sowing discord and amplifying fear in the minds of prey. Her voice, though human, had a sharp, almost brittle quality. It's damp, primitive, and energetically noisy. I missed the psychic clarity of the Gylosian clusters. Their minds were like crystal structures, easily read, easily influenced. She shivered, a subtle tremor that ran through her human form. "Their minds were consumed, Chloe," Sarah murmured from the passenger seat, her voice soft, like the first fragile breath of a nascent star expanding into the void. She looked out at the towering pines, perceiving the flow of sap, the slow process of photosynthesis, the hidden network of fungi beneath the soil, an intricate, delicate system humming with life force. Her ethereal senses registered not just the physical trees, but the faint, lingering echoes of life consumed, a chilling counterharmony to the planet's vibrant song. By your kind, a gross violation of the cosmic cycle, a flicker of something cold, ancient, and predatory passed across Chloe's face, a momentary disruption in the human mask before it snapped back into place. Ben, his human form a vessel exquisitely tuned for amplified anxiety and sensory distortion, shivered violently, interpreting the subtle energetic tension within the SUV, the friction between the ancient's presence and the hungerings as overwhelming fear. His eyes were wide, darting nervously. You guys feel that? It's cold. Colder than it should be. Even with the heater on full blast, it feels like dread. His power, in his true form, was the manipulation of sensory input, twisting reality for victims, creating personalized nightmares, amplifying their terror to make their life force sweeter, a potent, intoxicating vintage for the hungering. He was already unconsciously amplifying the general unease in the car, feeding on the other's discomfort. Just the mountain air, Ben, Lily chirped from the back, her human form radiating an almost palpable, saccharine innocence, a psychic projection designed to disarm and attract. Her true nature was a lure, a psychic siren song woven from false purity that masked the horror of her kind, making prey lower their guard, drawing them closer like moths to a deadly flame. I think it's beautiful. All the green, the fog. Sam, quieter than the others, sat by the window, his human eyes gazing at the blurring trees. His power was camouflage on a fundamental level, blending not just visually, but energetically, becoming almost undetectable, a master stealth hunter in the cosmic void. Some places, they have a strong signal, he murmured, his human voice quiet, his true sensitivity to energy signatures, registering the faint but incredibly pure, raw life force of this biosphere, a vibrant, delicious anomaly in the cosmic dark they usually inhabited, where energy was often chaotic or depleted. He could feel the planet's pulse, like a distant drum. Their true forms were not flesh and bone in the human sense. They were the hungering, an ancient nomadic species, perhaps one of the oldest parasitic entities in the cosmos, predating even some stars. They drifted between realities, between dimensions, cosmic parasites that fed on the life force, the very souls of conscious beings, viewing them as nothing more than walking reserves of energy. They had encountered and consumed countless civilizations across innumerable worlds, leaving behind only barren husks, cosmic ghosts. They adopted temporary physical forms, human on this planet, forms tailored to the dominant species of a world, allowing them to move undetected among populations, to better locate and savor their prey. Earth, with its vibrant, varied, emotionally volatile life, had been a recent, particularly appealing discovery. Its energy signature on the cosmic scale was like a brilliant, inviting beacon. John finally pulled the SUV into a small, overgrown clearing that felt less like a campsite and more like a carefully selected point of temporary stasis, a brief pause in the unending cosmic journey within this thriving biosphere. The engine died with a final shudder, and a profound silence descended, a vast emptiness that was broken only by the faint, natural sounds of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an unseen bird, the gentle drip of water from mossy branches. For John and Sarah, this silence was a profound contrast to the constant, deafening symphony of the universe, a quiet moment of respite in their unending, burden-filled mission. "Okay," Chloe said, forcing her human expression back, stepping out of the vehicle onto the damp earth. She wrinkled her nose slightly at the smell of decay and dampness. Primitive, but, as Sam said, energy-rich. The primitive ones always have the purest reserves. "Rich indeed," Sarah murmured, her gaze scanning the dense forest wall, her ethereal senses expanding beyond the limitations of her human form, feeling the intricate energy web of the planet's biosphere. She registered not just the physical trees, but the complex flow of life force within them, the faint, beautiful song of this planet's intricate, interconnected life system. John stepped out, stretching his human limbs, feeling the strange, temporary resistance of muscle and bone, the unfamiliar ache of physical strain. His core, a contained singularity of cosmic energy, resonated with the fundamental vibrations of the planet beneath his feet. A lower, slower frequency than the cosmic hum he was accustomed to, but potent in its own way. His power was immense, the ability to reshape celestial bodies with a thought, create or destroy stars with a gesture, manipulate gravity and time on a cosmic scale, to bend the very laws of physics. But in this form, on this small world, he was merely observing, allowing the natural processes, even the primitive defenses, to unfold. "All right, team," he said, his voice taking on the tone of a human leader, a role he'd played on countless worlds across forgotten eons, adapting his persona to the dominant species. "Operation Blend In is a go. Set up camp, act like tourists, resupply should be plentiful here. Don't be too disruptive." He gave them a look that, even in his human form, carried a subtle weight of ancient warning. As they went through the motions of setting up tents and building a fire pit, their human actions were a thin, almost transparent veneer over their alien impatience, their ancient, driving hunger. Ben shivered, his amplified fear manifesting as a constant tremor, picking up on the subtle, cold energy that was beginning to gather at the edges of the clearing. The initial awareness of the planet's natural fundamental defenses stirring like ancient sentinels. Sarah paused, her head tilted, eyes closed, appearing to listen to a distant sound. Beneath her human skin, her ethereal senses extended, feeling the ancient pulse of the planet, detecting the presence of its low-level guardians. Elemental forces tied to the biosphere's life force, stirred up by the unnatural energies, the discordant frequencies of the hungering's parasitic aura intruding upon their domain. It was like a tiny alarm bell, ringing in a vast, silent cosmic network that John and Sarah constantly monitored, a network of planets and civilizations they were sworn to protect. Then, a sound. Not the snap of a twig, not a rustle of leaves. It was a low, resonant hum, a vibration that emanated from the very core of the planet. A song of primordial life force and ancient defense awakening. It was subtle, barely noticeable to human ears, a frequency below the normal range of mortal hearing. But to John, to Sarah, to the hungering, it was a clear, undeniable signal. The planet's guardians, primitive but rooted in the fundamental energy of this world, were stirring, recognizing the intrusion. To Ben, in his human form, it was the whispering again, amplifying his fear, making him jumpy, twisting the sound into phantom voices. To Mark, his borrowed vitality flickered uncomfortably under the pressure of the disrupting frequency. To John and Sarah, it was a recognition, a low-level alert in the cosmic network they oversaw. confirming the presence of active indigenous defenses. This planet had guardians, primitive in their scope, but present and aware. A good sign. Later, around the flickering campfire, the human masks were beginning to feel thin, stretched taut. The fear generated by Ben, amplified to a palpable force by Chloe's unconscious psychic static, was a tempting aroma to the hungering. John told a ghost story, a quaint human ritual about mortal fears and transient spooks. "People go missing here," Ben whispered, his eyes wide, staring into the absolute darkness beyond the firelight, his senses screaming at the unseen presence gathering just outside the ring of firelight, the elemental guardians. "The mountain takes them, something ancient." "The mountain takes what doesn't belong," Sarah murmured, her eyes reflecting the firelight, but also an ancient, cosmic coldness that seemed to absorb the light rather than reflect it. The low hum was now a constant undercurrent beneath the silence, a gentle, persistent pressure against the hungering's discordant parasitic energy signatures, a low, warning growl from the planet itself. As the hungering settled into their tents, eager for the night's supply, for the chance to feed on the pure, rich life force of this planet's unsuspecting dominant species, John and Sarah remained by the dying embers. The human forms felt restrictive, temporary, like costumes they could shed at any moment. "They sense the guardians," John said, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through the damp earth beneath them, his true form, a being of pure cosmic power tied to the fundamental forces of space-time, feeling the planet's pulse, its ancient defenses stirring, extending outward like roots seeking purchase. "Good," Sarah replied, her voice like mist condensing in the cold air, her ethereal senses perceiving the network of elemental guardians weaving through the forest, recognizing them as extensions of the planet's own consciousness. "Let them be distracted. Their presence simplifies the initial phase. It herds them." Sarah's true form, a being of woven cosmic energy and spiritual awareness, oversaw the ethereal currents of the universe, the flow of life force and consciousness, capable of perceiving the intricate spiritual architecture of any world. Their origins were lost even to cosmic memory, predating the formation of the first galaxies. They were the ancients, fundamental forces of cosmic balance and order. John was the architect of physical reality, the wielder of gravity, time, and matter on a cosmic scale. Sarah was the mistress of cosmic energy, spiritual currents, and the veil between dimensions, bound by cosmic law to maintain the delicate balance of creation, to prune the cosmic garden, to dispense justice on a universal scale against those who would disrupt the fundamental order. The hungering, their current targets, were an ancient plague, a cosmic infestation. Parasites that fed on the vital energy of conscious beings, extinguishing the spark of life, leaving behind only empty husks, cosmic ghosts. They drifted through the cosmic dark, drawn to centers of vibrant life like cosmic carrion. John and Sarah had encountered them before, on countless worlds, across countless epochs, in myriad forms. They were a disruption, a violation of the cosmic cycle, a force of entropy that fed on creation. And the ancients were the immune system of the universe, its cosmic antibodies. As dawn approached, the mist in the clearing thickened, a tangible manifestation of Sarah's subtle, localized control over atmospheric energy, weaving a veil of concealment over the campsite, a preparation for the coming unveiling. Ben, his fear amplified to unbearable levels, a living conduit for psychic static and distorted reality, scrambled from his tent, his human form trembling uncontrollably. "Sam!" he shrieked, his voice raw with terror, tearing at his human skin as if to shed it. He's gone. He's just vanished. His tent was empty, not dragged away by a physical force, but gone, dissipated, dissolved. This was not the act of a primitive guardian taking a shell into the earth. This was the effect of the planet's awakened defenses, its low-level elemental guardians, recognizing and reacting to Sam's parasitic energy signature, the discordant frequency of the hungering, as a fundamental threat. The Guardians had, under the subtle direction of the ancients, activated a localized energy field, a natural planetary immune response that disrupted Sam's temporary human form, dissolving his physical disguise, forcing his true form, his parasitic energy signature, to become visible on the cosmic scale. A brilliant, unmistakable beacon John and Sarah could now track across the universe. Sam's power of camouflage, while effective on lesser beings and most physical environments, was useless against the fundamental energy of a planet's core and the will of the ancients who commanded it. What took him? Chloe whispered, her human mask faltering completely, revealing the hungry light in her eyes, her psychic abilities screaming with the raw, chaotic energy of Sam's temporary form dissolving, a disruption she felt deep in her parasitic core. John and Sarah emerged from their tents, their human faces composed, serene, but their eyes held the light of distant stars, the cold fires of cosmic power. They were not surprised. The plan, set in motion eons ago when they first detected the presence of the hungering's energy signature nearing this biosphere, was unfolding as intended. Taken, John said, his voice calm, carrying the weight of infinite time. Or revealed,